repeat is back on the minds of the defending champs. But their 7th straight is still shy of the Blazers' run. The Nets' run in the wrong way is over. And meet Gary Payton.
I'm going to be another Kevin Johnson, another superstar.
He's not running from anyone on the NBA Today.
And welcome to the NBA Today. I'm Mark Jones. A jam and half hour ahead as we go baseline to baseline to get you caught up on the scoop. We'll go around the league and look at some of the key matchups during the next 7 days. And we'll check in with the Clippers medical list and ring the bell on a fist fight. Yes, a fist fight in Seattle between teammates at that. But let's tip things off with the Pistons in Detroit, where there's absolutely no fighting between teammates. Now, more than any other team, the Pistons understand what winning is all about, and they've got back-to-back NBA titles to prove it, too. Piston players check their egos at the door and leave it there before taking the court. Head cases need not apply for a job on this team. No, sir. You won't find any 20-point scoring averages, but you will find wins piling up in Pistonland. Sure, Portland is grabbing most of the headlines, but quietly, the defending champion Pistons have run off 7 straight wins. Each night, the win comes from a new hero, too. Tuesday night against Miami, it was the defense. The Heat shot just 38% from the floor. That and Isaiah's 14 assists led to a 106-90 rout. Wednesday, Isaiah had 32 in their 108-100 overtime win against Indiana. They went to the boards to beat the Bullets on Friday. 58-45 was the margin. Dennis Rodman was the monster, 15 balls coming off the glass to the Worm in a cakewalk, 97-88. Sunday, Rodman never took a shot but pulled down 13 boards in a 105-92 win. James Edwards led the Pistons with 26 points, but he wasn't the only one on the board. 6 Pistons scored in double figures against the Kings, a rare feat for most teams, but it was the 6th time this season Detroit has done that. Spread around the wealth. Win 7 straight. Look for your 3rd straight championship. The Pistons are back. Yeah, Detroit is red hot, but so are the Boston Celtics, who won their 7th straight game Monday night against Miami. Now, the Pistons schooled the Blazers in championship etiquette just a few months ago in the NBA Finals. But Portland seems to have learned its lessons well. The Blazers are back in a big way. And if you don't believe me, just listen for that big thump you hear coming out of the Northwest. It's the sound of the Blazers on a mission of search and destroy. The Portland Trail Blazers pummeling the opposition and upping their record to 10-0 Friday night with a 143-119 win over Golden State. Terry Porter threw in 22 points as the Blazers broke out of the gate early, outscoring the Warriors 41-16 in the second quarter. They led 76-52 at the half. Clyde Drexler and Cliff Robinson finished with 18 as the Blazers had 7 players in double figures. Sunday night, the Blazers moved to 11-0, tying a club record by scoring 49 points in the first period in a 117-103 win over the Spurs. Portland shot 88% in the period, as Clyde Drexler and Kevin Duckworth combined to hit 13 of 14 shots. Duckworth finished with 22 points, Drexler 20 to go along with 14 boards, and Terry Porter chipped in 16 assists. Larry Brown's Spurs had won 4 straight. Friday night, trailing 104-101 with 40 seconds left, Terry Cummings missed this three-pointer. The Mavs' James Donaldson grabbed the rebound but elbowed David Robinson. Donaldson was ejected and Robinson hit both foul shots. After a Mavs miss, Paul Pressey hit a layup for a 105-104 Spurs lead. After Terry Cummings sank 2 foul shots, Herb Williams missed the three-pointer at the buzzer. And the Spurs were a 107-104 winner. Over in the East, the Celtics returned home Wednesday night and knocked off the Rockets 108-95. Kevin McHale came off the bench to lead the Green with 32 points and 10 boards. The Rockets' starting front court of David Wood, Otis Thorpe, and Akeem Olajuwon combined for only 30 points. Friday night, Kevin McHale led the Celtics to their 5th straight win, a 115-105 win over Sacramento. Brian Shaw added 20 points to go along with 9 assists as Boston crowned the Kings for the 9th straight time. Saturday, the Celtics handed the Cavaliers their first home loss as Larry Bird poured in 29 points in a 113-102 win. Reggie Lewis hit 7 of his first 8 shots and finished with 16 points in the opening quarter, 28 for the game. The 76ers making a charge with bump and thump. This Rick Mahorn tip-in of a Charles Barkley miss in the last seconds of the game gave the 76ers a 101-99 win over Sacramento.
After a Friday win over Cleveland, Philadelphia made it 4 straight, scoring 8 straight points in the final 22 seconds in a come-from-behind 124-121 win in Atlanta.
A little excited or what? Well, you don't build a championship contender with a magic wand and a black hat. It takes a few front office shrewd moves. When we come back on the show, it's the making of the monster in Portland from top to bottom. That, plus a look at the Blazers' former head coach, who is doing just fine, thank you very much, coaching LA's other team. We'll be back with more after this short timeout. Stay with us.
NBA Today, brought to you by AJD Cap Company, makers of the official NBA signature caps. AJD, the leader in sports headwear. By Digital Equipment Corporation, the official computer vendor to the NBA. And by Edge Gel, proud sponsor of the Edge NBA MVP Award. For less irritation, you've got the edge.
You know, the recipe for NBA success isn't in every team's cookbook, but in Portland, they've added all the ingredients to finally bake that championship cake. Ironically, the head chefs are former Portland players, too. Jeff Petrie, a vice president, and Rick Adelman, the coach. And when you examine how the Blazers were built, there's no magic involved, just some smart scouting.
The construction started with the first-round selection of Clyde Drexler in the 1983 college draft. Drexler, a 4-time NBA All-Star, isn't the only success the Blazers have had in the first round. Others include the 1985 selection of Terry Porter from the NAIA's Wisconsin Stevens Point and the 88 and 90 selections of Mark Bryant and Ala Abdelnaby. Portland has also done well in the later rounds of the draft. The most notable, Jerome Kersey, a Division II college player who has only missed 17 games in his 6-year career. Other late-round picks, Drazen Petrovic, a third-round selection in '86, and Cliff Robinson, picked in the second round of the 1989 draft. Portland has strengthened its bench through free agency, signing Danny Young in '88 and Wayne Cooper in 1989. But some major construction has come through trades. This offseason, the Blazers acquired what many think was the missing piece, a proven winner in Danny Ainge. In 1986, they got Kevin Duckworth, one of the NBA's most respected centers. And prior to last season, they traded for Buck Williams, who last year played all 82 games for the 6th time in his 9 NBA seasons. The Blazers think the building is done, and they hope to get back to the NBA Finals and this time capture a world championship.
Portland fired Mike Schuler as their head coach back in February 1988, but Schuler landed on the Golden State bench as an assistant coach and is now the head coach of the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, that in itself can be a curse because the Clippers are the NBA's version of the hard luck kids. But Schuler is dispelling the hard luck with hard work, and he's the spotlight of this week's Digital Coaches Corner. Now, Schuler has the Clippers playing at .500 despite a rash of injuries to key players. The latest one to forward Ken Norman, who suffered a severely sprained ankle against New Jersey. Through it all, Schuler is using his no-nonsense, no excuses, no more losing approach to keep his young and very, very talented lineup together.
We're trying to win as many games as we possibly can right now because we know that once those two get back on our roster, it's just going to make us a better team. But I think we continue to make progress, and that's what I'm most interested in.
And a look at the injury situation makes Schuler look like he's doing it with mirrors. Believe it or not, but the Clippers might even be in the hunt for a playoff spot once Ron Harper returns. Don't forget, Schuler was the NBA's Coach of the Year in 1987, and he has a reputation for being a good X's and O's man. You know, the Clippers are relatively inexperienced, and patience is a big key in their development. But the players themselves are young and restless. They want to win, and they want to win now, with or without Ron Harper.
The guys are going out with the attitude of we're just going to go out and we're going to play hard and, you know, win, and if all our pieces do come, we're going to be a good team. But they're just going out, they're playing hard every night, and that's all that you can ask from them.
We're just missing that, you know, go-to guy in crucial situations like a Harper. Bo is coming along, he can shoot the ball real well, so it's coming, but Harper got all the dimensions you need as an off guard. He can drive to the hole. He's like a Michael Jordan type player, and everybody needs one of those.
For sure. Well, the New Jersey Nets took their horror show on the road, and you'll never guess what happened. We've got that and a lot more when we return. But first, let's go inside the numbers and look at the hot and the cold end of things in Portland-San Antonio's game last Sunday. No wonder the Blazers are 11-0 and heading into Tuesday night picture perfect. You know, it's tough enough to win on the road in the NBA. In fact, the visiting team's winning percentage on the road was 32% last season. Now, sometimes winning on the road is flat out impossible. Well, if you were in one of those office pools to see if and when the New Jersey Nets would ever win a road game, it's time to see if you have won the winning ticket.
Last Tuesday night in Seattle, the game plan for the Nets was to snap a 32-game road losing streak. They looked to be on track when Reggie Theus hit for 2 of his 29 points with a buzzer beater. The Nets trailed by 4 points at the half. But in the third quarter, the Sonics started to pull away. Sedal Threatt led the way with 9 third-quarter points, and Xavier McDaniel contributed with 8 of his game-high 35. Seattle led by as many as 18 points at one point. But the Nets pulled to within 6. That's as close as they would get, though. New Jersey sets the record with their 33rd straight road loss.
You know, you're out here, you're pressing a little bit, and you're trying to get your best game for tonight, and we didn't come anywhere close to getting our best game.
We as a team, we're struggling. We don't have an identity right now. We don't know what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, and we need to reevaluate what's happening on this ball club.
I can't even relate to the streak because I was in another place, and most of the guys here can't relate to it because they were in other places. But it is a fact, and it's something we have to deal with. Like I said, when we play our best basketball on the road, we will get a win. It will take a gorilla off our back, sure.
The Gorilla hung on the following night in Los Angeles as the Clippers got 34 points from Charles Smith to extend New Jersey's losing streak to 34 games on the road. The Nets still trying to get the Gorilla off their backs in Phoenix on Friday. They blew a 15-point first-half lead and then a 16-point second-half lead, thanks to Tom Chambers, who had a game-high 39 points for Phoenix. But with time running out, Mookie Blaylock came up big.
Theus to Blaylock. Mookie at the buzzer. With 0.3 of a second remaining. Mookie Blaylock hits the hoop. And the Nets at this point up 2 with 0.3 of a second left on the clock.
That's how it ended as New Jersey won for the first time on the road since December the 19th, 1989. The next night in Oakland, they tried to win back-to-back road games for the first time since the first 2 games of the 1989 season. And when Sam Bowie hit this 3-point bomb with just over 20 seconds left in the game, the Nets had pulled out another one. The final 117-113, which prompted Coach Bill Fitch to say, "After this, we should wire home for money and stay out here on the road."
And it's on its way, too. Philadelphia's Charles Barkley is the type of guy that isn't afraid to tell you exactly what's on his mind, even if it's painfully true. Barkley's not afraid to tell teammates they're playing like wimps if that's what they're playing like. He talks a good game, but he plays a great game. And Barkley is this week's Edge Player of the Week. The 76ers had to circle the wagons when Johnny Dawkins suffered a season-ending knee injury. They circled the wagon and hitched it up to Barkley, who has taken Philly on a winning ride. Barkley made big play after big play, as he refused to let the Sixers lose all week. Philadelphia went a perfect 4-0 during the week, and Barkley averaged 30 points and 10 boards a game. Barkley making another strong charge for the league's MVP award. All this from a guy who's listed at 6'6", but really is closer to about 6'4". You know, on the surface, Portland's 11-0 record looks like the stuff championship titles are made of. But a closer look, you can't help but notice that 8 of their 11 wins have come at home. Makes you wonder if they're as dominating as they seem. But regardless, the Blazers with a chance to close in on the record of 15 straight wins to start the season.
Tonight in the NBA, an early evening tilt finds the Phoenix Suns visiting the undefeated Portland Trail Blazers in a rematch of last year's Western Conference Finals. The Blazers captured last year's regular season match 3-2. Other key matchups find Cleveland in New York to face the Knicks and San Antonio on the West Coast to take on the struggling Seattle Supersonics. Wednesday night's docket is led by the Pistons hosting the Knicks in their first meeting since the Pistons eliminated New York from last year's playoffs. Other key games have Houston and Utah to face the Jazz and the Spurs in L.A. to take on the Lakers. Friday night, the Pistons again headline the action as they host the 76ers. Last time these two teams met, the Sixers won in the Palace 107-97. Also Friday, the Knicks look to avenge last week's loss to Milwaukee, and Indiana and Chicago tip off in a Central Division battle. A lot of good matchups on Saturday's docket as well. The Celtics are in Philadelphia to take on the Sixers. Dallas looks to even this year's series with San Antonio with a visit to Hemisphere Arena. And out west, the Lakers go south to take on Phoenix. And Portland heads up the coast to face Seattle. And Sunday night, the Blazers return home to host the Utah Jazz. You know, rookies traditionally have to carry veterans' bags and sit in the back of the bus on NBA road trips. But you know what? It's tough to imagine Gary Payton being anybody's valet. We'll have a report on the Sonics rookie that talks like a vet when we come back on the NBA Today. Hang in there. You know, saying that Seattle's Gary Payton has confidence is kind of like saying Philadelphia's Manute Bol is a little skinny. It is the overstatement of the year. But Payton's confidence has inspired the same in his head coach, Casey Jones. Casey has thrown Payton the ball and let him run the offense this year in Seattle. And Payton will be the first one to tell you that he can do it well. Kenny Mayne has more.
First trip down court against the Bulls, and Gary Payton delivers the perfect lead to Michael Jordan. This time in this game, Gary Payton had little to talk about. Verbosity was his thing at Oregon State, communications being his major. Payton talked opponents out of game face often enough to become an All-American and Sports Illustrated's Player of the Year.
You know, most people just know me from on the court. That's where people think that they know me. You know, that college scene got me into that when I used to kick balls, throw gum at people. And, you know, that was just my attitude to make it to this kind of level. You know, that's the way I had to play because a lot of people was coming to gun for Gary Payton, you know.
Payton's oral and physical undergraduate work made him the #2 career NCAA assist leader. Up in the NBA, the Payton posture is less talk and more rock. There's drafting genius, then there's pure luck, which is what the Sonics were blessed with in the NBA lottery to get the #2 pick.
Our ping pong ball got real aggressive. We got up there, we got the pick, and as a result, we were able to choose Gary Payton.
There was no question, there was no doubt whatsoever that Payton was a guy. He's a penetrator, he's a passer. He's all of it.
Jump shot. That's what I need to work on more. I think constantly, you're consistent hitting that shot, I'll become a more dangerous player. You know, you see Kevin Johnson, he can stick the jump shot and everybody bag up off of him and hope that he won't penetrate, but he shoots that jumper in your face. And that's a hard player to stop. You know, once I get that down pat, it's going to be where I'm going to be another Kevin Johnson, another superstar.
The Payton Star vehicle got going over rough roads, Oakland, California. But his father, Al Payton, was at the wheel, a strong hand in a neighborhood where the weak are wounded. The gangs allow athletes some consideration. Al Payton simply didn't allow his family to consider the temptations.
I could scare him up. I had him afraid of me. He was afraid of what I might do. And I kept that image, and I would tell my teachers or coaches or whatever, if you're having a problem, just call me.
Oregon State coaches didn't need to dial one.
He was cocky, he was arrogant, and as you go to higher levels of play and more things are expected of you, so he grew up.
That maturity mixed with loyalty when Gary, in the same manner as his father, wouldn't stand for the trouble his lifelong friend Milton Jackson was getting into.
When my senior year came around in college, you know, I made a bet with him. I said, if you can go get you a job, as soon as I make it, I'll do something for you. You know, and when I came back, he had a great job. He was a construction worker, you know, making $19 an hour.
When Payton made his even larger hourly deal with the Sonics, the promise was kept. Payton is paying for his friend's tuition at prestigious Seattle University. It won't be the last of the Payton payback. Sonic and Shoe Company dollars are headed to the Oakland Boys Club.
I went through the same thing, and now that I made it, I don't want everybody to think, hey, that, you know, he's gone, he's not going to come back here and help this community.
Critical moments in the NBA are what distinguish rookies and the unassertive from the major players.
Payton into the lane, a reverse pivot, up to the glass, pumps, lays it up, and in! Tie ball game! What a brilliant play by Gary Payton.
If he's going to take control, he has to say it and do it. You know, you got to walk the walk before you can talk the talk. You know, and he's doing a little bit of both. You know.
A scowl passes for a smile. His eyes dart like his dishes. One can't always get a handle on Gary Payton. The looks as deceptive as the words he employs for an edge. But his overt actions signify his desire for control. And as he scratches out his NBA existence, he's relatively silent. He will talk. Right now, he's just catching his breath. Kenny Mayne for NBA Today, Seattle.
Payton walking the walk and talking the talk right now. Payton's future is bright, in fact, but the future of teammate Dell Ellis is up in the air. Wednesday, Seattle placed Ellis on the suspended list because of a fight between him and teammate Xavier McDaniel. The altercation started in practice, and then the two players met outside afterwards to slug it out. Police were called, but no arrests were made. Despite the fight, McDaniel says, hey, everything's cool.
Every team goes through problems. It's just a lot of teams can deal with them, some teams can't. I think when you look around the league, even when teams are playing well, no one never talks about all the disruption unless you're playing bad. But, you know, we know what we got to do, and we got a job to do. It's just a matter of us going out and doing it.
Ellis will become eligible to play December the 1st, that is on Saturday. You know, an eyewitness to the fight said that there was bloodshed, and it wasn't McDaniel's. We shed a little blood trying to find you the best plays of the week here on the NBA Today. It's showtime. Coming up next. Stay right there.
NBA Today, brought to you by AJD Cap Company, makers of the official NBA signature caps. AJD, the leader in sports headwear. By Digital Equipment Corporation, the official computer vendor to the NBA. And by Edge Gel, proud sponsor of the Edge NBA MVP Award. For less irritation, you've got the edge.
On Monday, the Oregon Lottery Commission voted to eliminate betting on NBA games in its sports action game. The commission voted 5-0 and noted that NBA games did not generate enough income. The NBA hit the Lottery Commission with a lawsuit when they originally started accepting bets on NBA games last season. And speaking of bets, I bet that you thought this time would never come, but it's here. All we've got is simply the best of the best of the best. Showtime. Never duplicated, never imitated, always bona fide, and sure to leave you satisfied. So, everybody, get with the program and fasten your seatbelts because you will go ape, and we mean ape, over Showtime. To Seattle we go. The X-Men over to Olden Polynice for the jam. Off to Portland we go. Jerome Kersey filling the express lane with a little checkout here. Then it's teammate Cliff Robinson coming in on the break, all alone, a two-handed reverse jam. Coach Don Nelson, what do you think of that? Come on, Coach, it's a family show. Not to be outdone, Clyde Drexler jamming one home. Let's take another look at that one. Clyde with the reverse hook jam on the baseline. How about some passing? You want some? Here it is. Larry Bird behind the back to Kevin Gamble, behind the back to the Birdman. Out west we go. Terry Teagle to Larry Drew, inside to Vlade. Then Michael Jordan behind the back to Scottie Pippen for the tomahawk. And it's Magic's turn. Who else threading the needle one more time? Hey, how about Reggie Miller? Falls down, picks it up, fakes, basket, elementary. That one's worth another look, too. Reggie doing a little curly kneel act. Puts him in the popcorn machine, Otis Thorpe. There he goes. Bucket time. Well, if that wasn't enough, how about this scoop shot? Reggie with the schoolyard shot. Okay, get out the peanut butter because here comes the jams. David Robinson's turn. Charles Smith. Thank you very much. And the Bullets' Tommy Hammonds taking the elevator to the top floor on John Sally. Well, Hammond's teammate Bernard King signed a 2-year contract on Tuesday. He'll be on our show next week. That's all for now. Join us again next week when we give you the real score on the NBA. I'm Mark Jones. For me and the rest of our talented NBA Today posse, see you later.